Remember something, just because it's in print doesn't mean it's the gospel. People write negative things because they feel that's what sells. Good news to them doesn't sell.
I have been a fan of Michael Jackson for probably about 25 years now, which is a really long time. And I guess, I've thought about it for a few weeks, and I've digested the documentary, and it was something that I have spoken about heaps, and I've had lots of friends call me because they know that I was a huge MJ fan growing up. It's pretty heavy watching, especially for people that have been through that kind of thing. There's people that are very, very close to me and very dear who have experienced grooming and that type of thing, and it's I can't imagine how hard it is to watch from that perspective. Also, I know mothers who have had their children who have been through that type of thing, and for them it was really confrontational, and myself, I found it extremely confrontational, and I think it's due to the fact that this is someone, since I was a little boy, I looked up to and copied and mimicked, and I kind of found that I really, not discrediting anyone who has been or was, but I really could have been a victim of this situation. Back when I was 9-10 years old, the only thing that I wanted to do was meet Michael Jackson, and at that time, it's true, superstars were gods. There's no one, I don't feel that there's anyone like that anymore. It just doesn't, that type of superstar doesn't exist. And if I did have the opportunity to meet Michael Jackson, I would have gone to Neverland and hung with Michael, and who knows? I mean, for me, it was a really scary thought, and I think also having my own kid now, I saw it from a different perspective, and I had lots of feels and emotions towards it, and I felt pretty gutted after. I've watched lots and lots of documentaries about Michael Jackson. I have always thought that it was lies. Always thought it was a lie. And even watching documentaries recently on 60 Minutes, listening to The Maid and this, I feel like I'm watching with a fine tooth comb, because I am just trying to see if they're lying, and probably 95% of the time I feel like they're lying, trying to extort money and things of the sort. But this was the first time in 25 years that I watched a documentary about Michael Jackson, which was 4 hours long, and I felt completely confused and shocked.
Well, what's wrong with sharing your bed? I didn't say I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed, it's okay. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I would slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. That's someone else.
I think one or two things. I think either Michael Jackson is a very, very, very sick man, or the people who made the documentary are very, very sick men. So, we never are going to know entirely, but after I spoke about it heaps, I thought about kind of what the facts of the documentary or the facts of Michael Jackson are, and I think some of the things that I can't get out of my mind is, one thing we are certain of is that Michael Jackson spent the majority of his time with young children. Like, it's a fact, it's documented, it's on video. There's documentaries of kids saying, yeah, Michael and I sleep in the same bed. I mean, I'm a 34-year-old man now, and MJ was a 34-year-old man when we started kind of hearing about those things. And I just cannot imagine in a million years sleeping with anyone's kid in my bed. I just can't. And it's all love, but just out of respect for the other parents, and not even my nieces or nephews. I think it's different as a guy. Like, I totally get if you're a girl and the niece or nephew sleeps in the bed, argue that point if you wish. But I just think as a guy, I would never want to do that. And despite that fact, I can't think of anything worse than spending 5 to 7 days a week with a 7 to 10-year-old who's not my kid. Like, no offense to anyone at all, but I wouldn't enjoy that type of company. I do love children. I really love children, and I love my own child, but I just think it's all types of wrong. So we definitely know that MJ spent the majority of his time and his life with kids who are basically under 10.
You're a parent. You've got 3 children.
Yes.
Would you allow your children to sleep in the bed with a grown man who was not a relative, or to sleep in the bedroom?
Sure. If I know that person, trust them, and love them. That's happened many times with me when I was little.
Would you, as a parent, allow children to sleep in the same bedroom with someone who has the suspicions and allegations that have been made against you and about you today? Would you allow that?
Someone,
If you knew someone who had the same kind of allegations
yeah,
that
I
have
know
been
exactly
made
what you're
against
saying.
you, would you let your children
my children,
sleep in that man's bedroom?
if I knew the person personally, because I know how the press is, I know how people can twist the truth. If I knew the person personally, absolutely yes, absolutely, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
You know, as the documentary went on and more people spoke and the wives were talking about their husbands and how they were acting, I was sitting there with a fine-tooth comb trying to catch everyone out, but it was just, you know, how many people could they possibly get to lie in this documentary? Why would the wives lie? Why would they put their families in jeopardy? Why would they put their child in danger? You know, these people are getting death threats. For me, it was just really hard to believe that these guys were lying, and to be honest, my opinion now after 25 years is that MJ was a child molester. And that's, you know, that's a really hard pill to swallow, and I've spoken to lots of people who I respect, and I think equally everyone's shocked, and there's diehard MJ fans, and I have been a diehard MJ fan for a very long time. But, you know, all of those things don't add up for me. It totally makes sense that people are trying to extort, you know, the Jackson estate for money. But at the end of the day, I just think that it feels a little bit too real, and the fact that he was hanging with little kids at that stage and age, it just doesn't, it feels really fishy. Anyway, that's my thoughts of the day on Finding Neverland. I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys think, and it's totally up for debate. I mean, at the end of the day, we're never going to know if it's true or false. You know, this is how I just felt after watching it and after thinking about it for probably about 3-4 weeks now. But I'd be totally open for more discussions about it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Spike Leo Music. Peace.
What do you get out of this? What do you get out of this?
He's 4.
Yeah, I'm 4. I love, I feel, see, I think what they get from me, I get from them. I've said it many times, my greatest inspiration comes from kids. Every song I write, every dance I do, all the poetry I write, is all inspired from that level of innocence, that consciousness of purity. And children have that. I see God in the face of children. And man, I just love being around that all the time.